Hi again everyone, it's Nathan here from Mighty Lancer Games, and this is part 2 of our Maelstrom's Edge Battle for Zycanthus unboxing video. In this video we're going to be discussing or showing a little bit of the information contained in the rulebook and also a little bit of the other paraphernalia of the game, the cards and also some of the counters and templates and value that you see here. Okay, so I've had a bit of a read through the rulebook, and the first 35 pages of the book are all about the background and the setting of the Maelstrom's Edge universe, which chart the expansion of mankind from Earth and the colonisation of other worlds through to the discovering of the Cybele network, which is a tunnel of energy corridors between stars that allow faster than light travel in this setting. So what happened is that those tunnels have collapsed, causing a vast explosion throughout space, which is the Maelstrom, and these are the battles that are being fought on the edge of that ever expanding cyber explosion, if you like, through space between the Empyrean forces and the Charist Conclave, amongst others. So the Empyreans are a corporation essentially made up of lots of other smaller factions, and the Charist Enclave, they seem to be religious fanatics who believe that the Maelstrom is their key to ascension, and they've allied with the Angels, which are alien creatures which seem to feed off the Cybele energy. The game incorporates a few core mechanics that players of other game systems may find similar. Measurements in inches, the predominant dice used is a D6, and some of these templates look very familiar from my early days of playing Warhammer 40,000. The blast marker, I don't know how many different ways you can make a blast marker really, but the blast markers and the flamer template are extremely similar to what you may have seen in other games. One thing in the rulebook here is around facing on core mechanic. Is facing, so you have front and rear facings on your figures, which when I was unboxing the game I was confused by the small notches on the sides of the bases, and clearly after reading the rules this is to denote the front and rear arc of the figures. The game turn is split into 3 phases. So you have the command phase where you roll for priority between the 2 players, see who goes first. You generate a pool of command points for the turn. The action phase, where you take it in turns between the 2 players to alternate 1 or 2 units at a time, and that's through their shooting, moving, attacking process. And then the end phase, where you can destroy units voluntarily to remove them from the table and bring them back on as reinforcements later on. Calculate victory points that you've scored in that turn, and also to collect any unused command points that you may have generated for that turn. In the game, each unit has a characteristic block, as you would expect from most of the types of game. So you have various characteristics: move, evasion, skill, armour, mass, fortitude, willpower, and then the model type. And they all have a bearing on the game. Weapons use range, how many shots they have, penetration of the weapon, damage, and any special abilities of that weapon. These are all detailed on the unit card, which the game comes with a number of cards for the units employed within the game, and as they release more models, these models will come with the cards appropriate. So the different values are displayed on the card here for the different types of weapon, and also the points cost of each unit is displayed in the top corner there. They recommend between 120 and 150 points per side worth of models, and that should last you somewhere between 90 and 180 minutes, so an hour and a half to 3 hours playtime. Okay, so they're the stats for the stats cards for the various models. In the book there's the regular rules section denoting all the different moves and shooting actions that you would expect to find, different items around the model types and different special units and large model types. Also a lot of terrain specific rules there. There is a short section on mission rules and various scenarios there, and then through to a section here about the various army lists that goes into a little bit of detail, a nice little write-up with a good picture on each unit that tells you a little bit more about the models that you'll be employing in the game. There is a guide on the inside back cover that is an indication of what each of these tokens are that we looked at earlier on. And these little markers, little coloured markers, pop out and stick together, and they are suppression tokens. Now these have a direct bearing on how effective your units are going to be throughout the game, and are of different sizes to denote different levels of effect on your models. So in summary, I think that the book is quite nicely presented. There's a lot of very good illustrations. It reminds me of some of the Games Workshop rulebooks from the early 90s, where they've got like the decorative framing on the pages, a lot of good illustrations about how to employ different rules throughout the game, some nice colour photographs showing some nice versions of the painted models and scenery and what have you. The rulebook seems reasonably well laid out, but my only criticism so far is the lack of instruction guide for the models. However, one thing that I did know when I was reading through the book is that the book self-references back to other sections that might be helpful throughout the game. So here we've got a rule, for example, around hit and run, which refers to a dynamic move, and then it refers you back to page 47, which is where you find the rules for a dynamic move, which is quite helpful, say as a novice, being able to flick backwards and forwards to the relevant sections, which is quite good. So I'm looking forward to getting the models stuck together and having a trial run through the game. Over the next week I'm going to assemble the figures, and then we'll post another video in about a week's time where we look at some of the figures in a little bit more detail, and maybe even have a short couple of figure playthrough of the game. But in the meantime, give us your thoughts on what you think so far, and check out our website, mightylancergames.co.uk. I'm Nathan, thanks for watching.